This is Geek News Central. My name is Todd Cochran, and the stories that leads today's show are as follows. Equifax has totally blown it. I mean, this is so incredible. Wait to hear what they've done. John Deere, yes, the tractor company, has has bought an artificial intelligence company. EpiPens, remember we talked about EpiPens being so expensive? What would you think if you found out they were faulty? Many of them were not working the way they were supposed to. We're going to talk about the 2018 Nissan Leaf. And we're going to talk, of course, about Google Map and the hurricane that's bearing down on Florida, Hurricane Irma. Plus, of course, all the news of the day. I want to welcome you to episode 1224 of the Geek News Center podcast for Thursday, September 7th. This show is sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com and listeners just like you. Great deals from GoDaddy can be found at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. You can support this show today at geeknewscentral.com/insider or paypal.me/geeknews. You can always pick up Ohana gear at cafepress.com/Ohana store. Hey, I want to give a very warm welcome to all the brand new listeners of the show, brand new listeners and viewers. Thanks for being here. Thanks for checking us out for the very first time. Really late start to the show today. Had my youngin' in soccer. My wife had a meeting. We couldn't swap, and basically I didn't get back here until just about, maybe 45 minutes ago. So late start to the show tonight. But hey, again, if you're brand new, we want you to go over to geeknewscentral.com. Get on the website, get subscribed to the show right there on the right-hand column of the website. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, on Android, via email, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, or just a standard RSS feed. And you have no idea what I'm talking about. Don't worry about it. Just click on the more subscribe options on the page. And, of course, you can always just grab the show live right on the website at geeknewscentral.com or on demand anytime that you have some free time. So don't miss a single show. We want to thank you for getting subscribed and becoming part of the Ohana. And visit geeknewscentral.com daily to get access to all the great content on the website. If you want to email me, it's real easy, geeknews@gmail.com. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's @geeknews. Drop me an email. Let me know if you want to be part of our Slack channel. Geek News Central Ohana has a Slack channel where we hang out and chit-chat. You can follow me on Google Plus or on Facebook just by searching for my name, Todd Cochran. You can watch this show on the Roku via the Tech Podcast channel or on Apple TV just by searching for this show's name. You can listen on the Amazon Echo by telling that device to play the latest edition of the Geek News Central podcast, or listen on Stitcher, Watch, or Blueberry.com, or tell your Google Home device to play the podcast Geek News Central. So lots of ways to listen, watch, whatever you want to do. It's about 100 in the studio right now. I got home, the studio is all closed up. We do have some trade winds going on, but the kids had been out today. I'd been out. They had the house locked up, and the studio temperature is still coming down. Not pleasant, so I'll probably be a sopping, mopping, wet mop before we get all done here on the show today. And plus, it's so late, we'll see if I get through without getting totally punchy. But don't forget about our partner shows at Geek News Central. No better than Average with Jacob and Jeff, the Gadget Professor, Mr. Don Bain. The Pro Gear site being done by the GNC team. We've got the Podcast Insiders, not the new media show, and the Podcast Legends show. So lots of content over on Geek News Central at geeknewscentral.com. Of course, we want to thank our longest running sponsor of a podcast known to man. That, of course, is our good friends over at GoDaddy.com. Of course, after my introduction tonight, I don't know about that. But definitely check out all of our September deals. Available, again, via geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. We want you to get over there and get a 30% off new product purchases, 99cent.com, $1 a month economy hosting with a free domain. That's $1 a month for 12 months. So for $12, you get an economy hosting account and a free domain. Same thing with that managed WordPress hosting. $12 for the first year includes a free domain. Of course, if you're a business owner, check out the GoDaddy website builder deal. Your choice of personal, business, or business plus plans. You get a 1 month free deal. And all you got to do is basically go over to geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy to lock in any of those deals, any of those prices. We want you to do that. And of course, we want to thank GoDaddy for being a longtime sponsor here at Geek News Central. And we did get our September numbers. Thought it was going to be a little low. And we were right on target. I was really surprised based upon some of the telltale things I have access to. I thought, going to be a little bit down for the month. No, so August, you guys rocked it. So thank you for your ongoing continued support. I just, it amazes me, month after month, your guys' ongoing support of the sponsor. It's absolutely fantastic. So, let me just go over a few things here, and I've got my stack, and we'll get into the content. I have literally, since we did the last show, which was a week ago today, I've been crushed. I mean, literally crushed, putting in a massive amount of hours. We've had podcast advertising deals come in. We've been vetting new shows. It's a brain workout in itself. And like last night, I think I crawled out of here at like 9:30 or 10. I mean, it's been insane. Plus, the traffic right now in Honolulu has been testing my patience. It has been ever since. See, what happens is the kids come back here in stages. My kid's been back in school for a month or more. The college kids come back in, and then after Labor Day, the private schools come back in, and then it turns into mayhem on the highways. And I to get my kid to school, I'm gonna have to start leaving 30 minutes earlier. So my normal 45-minute commute into town to get him dropped off is now an hour 15, hour 20. It's ridiculous. So, and it's been both ways, evenings, doesn't matter. And people have got their heads up there. It's been horrible, and it's. I'll be honest with you. I'm done. I'm done with it. I really, really am. But at the same time, been getting all my workouts in. That's the important thing too. In making progress, not as fast. It's okay. It is what it is. Today's workout was probably 85%. I just was, just tired. So it's reflecting. So things are going to get better here after I get these proposals in and everything. But just been slammed. I got to thinking, and it's because our business is growing, and Mackenzie, the gal that I work hand in hand with on a day-to-day basis, with stuff going on at Raw Voice Blueberry, she's crushed. So it's time. I think it's almost time to hire an additional person. So and that's just for the for the regular business stuff. I guess we'll see. We'll see here. If it doesn't change in the next 2 or 3 weeks, I'm gonna have to do that. But just amazing, because we got to split the load. We don't have 3 support team members that are crushed too. It's a good thing. I'm not complaining. Business is good. So those are type of problems you want to have, right? My daughter in Florida, she was going to go on a cruise, and she was taking a Carnival cruise, and they wouldn't cancel the cruise. So it was right there in Tampa where they were boarding today. And they went down there and just raised Cain until they gave them a refund on their trip, because they wouldn't say they weren't. They wouldn't tell. They say that the cruise ship's leaving, and we're going to Havana. Well, very well, they're not cruising to Havana to do an overnight in Havana with a Cat 5 hurricane rolling up right up beside Cuba right now. They were going to take them out. They're going to say, well, because of weather, folks, we're going to divert over here. And because we got your money and we have the right to change ports, tough. But she didn't get on smartly. And I believe her fiance and my ex-wife are heading north, getting out of Florida at this point. but I can't even imagine the traffic they're in. So I shouldn't complain, but it sucks. And I'm dehydrated today. I emptied my water bottle, and I carry a huge one, so a little bit behind on H2O. So apologize, but oh, what else? That's it. That's just all I've got here. I've got a stack of stuff for you tonight, and Kirk did a good job getting show prep done. I was literally running behind, but I heard this news earlier today and knew this would lead things off. But Equifax, one of the top three credit reporting bureaus in the United States, and which I have a account with to monitor. I basically have I do credit monitoring and I also do a LifeLock. So I have two things, right? So the Equifax, I can keep a more of a day-to-day look on things. It warns me when, balances are going up or going down and so forth. But credit reporting firm Equifax said today that they had a data breach. Now, in my business that I'm in and everything we do at Raw Voice, there are certain services that cannot fail. It's just basically our stat system. It can't fail. It cannot fail. The only time we would be given a pass on our stat system going down is if there was like a nuclear attack. And even then, we might not get a pass. So we have fail-safe upon fail-safe. And basically, this is a service that cannot go down. It has to have 100% uptime. But you have a company, Equifax, that has every one of our credit reports on it. Every American's credit report is on the Equifax system. They report your credit to banks that give you loans for houses and cars, that kind of stuff. So it turns out that they lost personal data, including birth dates, credit card numbers, social security numbers, driver's license numbers. Now, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I can understand maybe a birth date or a credit card, but why in God's name was our social security numbers stored without being encrypted on their system? Why? This is insane. This is beyond insane. That this critical data about us, birth dates, social security numbers, driver's licenses, none of that should have ever in this lifetime been stored unencrypted. How is that even possible? How is that even possible? They discovered the breach on July 29th, and they exploited a U.S. website application vulnerability. What does that mean? Their website got hacked. Yet, a few days later, SEC filings show that three Equifax executives, Chief Financial Officer John Gamble Jr., Rodolfo Plotter, and U.S. Information Solutions President Joseph Logren sold nearly $2 million, $2 million in shares in the company days after the cyber attack was discovered. How? They're saying, boys, we just got hacked. We're an institution that can't be hacked. This is a this is not allowed to happen. And yet It did. He just had a breaking news while we're doing the show here. Apparently, Mexico was struck with an earthquake, and tsunamis have been felt along the Mexican coast. And if any of you that are watching the show right now live, can you guys Google see if there's tsunami warnings being issued? Don't know which side of Mexico it was on, but usually when that happens, we get tsunami warnings. My phone will buzz here in a minute if we do, but and it'll be a number of hours before it gets here, obviously. But anyway, this Equifax thing is they've got everything. A criminal has everything now. They can call her bank, give her birth date, give her social security number, provide her driver's license number. All these verifying information. They can impersonate us and empty our bank accounts. Well, I'm going to tell you, at this point, banks across the country are going to have to do something. They're going to have to put something in place to give an extra level of assurances that our information, that our bank accounts aren't emptied. 143 million, and I'm sure my, because I actually subscribe and pay them for this service. I'm sure my credit cards were part of that breach. So we are September 7th. The breach happened on July 29th. When did you think they were going to tell us? You know? This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Equifax added 209,000 U.S. credit card numbers were obtained in addition to certain dispute documents with personal identifying information for approximately 182,000 U.S. consumers. This is a security risk for any and every website that anyone uses. Okay, great. Why didn't they have smart people on their staff? Their shares have been hit in after-hour training, and they should be run out of business. This company does not deserve to exist. They need to go away. We can kind of excuse some companies because they're not sitting on the financial viability of most Americans. This breach. Now, okay, so you guys know that my data, remember that big Office of Personnel and Management government breach where our security clearance questionnaires were hijacked? So that happened a couple of years ago, and mine, my wife's, because my wife being a foreign national, she had to fill one of those forms out. I had to fill one of those forms. We both got 2 years of credit monitoring because of that. And again, I've been retired, right, for many years. Yet that data that basically has everything in it, they're saying that this breach at Equifax is more nasty than the OPM one. Is I can call a bank. They're going to call me and they're going to say, give me your address. All that stuff is in our credit file. Current address, current telephone numbers, kids' date of birth, all this stuff. You can tell I'm upset. This is a company that should have never, ever, ever, ever been breached. And to think that they had 3 people sold nearly $2 million worth of stock. They should have took that $2 million in valuation in stock and then invested it in security people to lock up their house. We're going to be hearing a lot more about this one, folks. We really, really are. Nick thinks no tsunami. The official word is out. There's no tsunami threat to Hawaii. All clear. NWS Thank you very much. Yep, Nick, they did. They dumped their shares immediately after they found out about the breach. Are now facing charges with the SEC. Yep. And Nick goes on to say, as a former tech industry engineer, I can attest that you'd be surprised just how unfancy the public sector tech is and how behind the times they really are. Healthcare institutions running old versions of Oracle on Windows with IIS and plain text databases. Yeah, it just blows me away that they would have our social security numbers, date of birth in a non-hashed data. I'm sure that the hackers were probably like their mouths probably dropped open. How is that even? I mean, okay, I'm some dude. I'm some geek from Hawaii, right? I'm some guy, right? Some guy from Hawaii. I do a little tech show, right? And when I hear that social security numbers were unencrypted, my brain explodes. My brain explodes. We know companies can get hacked. Okay, if they get hacked, great. But the databases better be encrypted. And if the databases are encrypted, they can download and then they have to, get all the stuff that they're going to need to try to unencrypt the database. And if they're using a good enough encryption, they're never going to get to the info. It's extraordinary. So, for those of you, wave your hand at me right now. I can almost guarantee you 90% of you that are listening to this show right now that are in the United States or Canada are affected by this Equifax breach. And you just know that the hackers can and will, if they can, empty your bank accounts with the information that they've got. There's not enough money in Equifax's coffers to pay for all the damage that has occurred here. And I'm sure there'll be congressional hearings and they'll get their hands slapped and the SEC will come down and and look at these people and nothing will happen. Nothing. They do not care about us. It's just a little cynical here. All right, and more brightening news. John Deere is purchasing Blue River Technology, a California startup. And I'm a big John Deere fan. I don't have any John Deere stuff. But I'm a Go Green John Deere fan. And John Deere's purchasing Blue River Technology, California startup that makes machine learning tools for agriculture. The acquisition is worth $305 million as part of a tractor company's multi-decade quest to automate farming. Well, the tractors are pretty automated now. If you got one of those nice fancy ones, it'll pretty much put you right down the. You ever seen those beautiful straight corn rows? And you think, how did that guy drive that straight? He didn't. The computer and the tractor did. The farmer sit in the cab and they got to the end of the field. They lifted the planter up and then they turned around and the tractor got itself set up and it put the planter down and the guy in the cab is just there to make sure this thing doesn't run off in the ditch. When I was growing up, sitting in the tractor, I had to, drive the rows, and that's why corn rows were a little bit wavy because it was up to me to keep it straight, not the satellite. So anyway, we'll see where this goes. And again, I'm nothing. If you're listening to the show, driving a tractor, I feel for your brother. I really do. And even though you do have an air conditioned cab, I didn't have an air conditioned cab when I was growing up. I had a little umbrella over the top that kept me semi cool. Or the FDA is slamming EpiPen for doing nothing while hundreds of their EpiPens failed and people died. The manufacturer EpiPen devices failed to address known malfunction in its Epipen auto-injectors. Even as hundreds of customers' complaints rolled in and the features were linked to deaths according to the FDA. The damaging allegations came to light today when the FDA posted a warning letter it sent September 5th to the manufacturer Meridian Medical, the company which is owned by Pfizer, producer of the EpiPens for Mylan, which owns the devices and is notorious for the ones that raise the prices by more than 400% in recent years. In a letter, the agency wrote, "In fact, your own data shows that you receive hundreds of complaints that your EpiPen products failed to operate during life-threatening emergencies, including some situations in which patients subsequently died." The agency goes on to lambast Meridian Medical, failing to investigate the problem with the devices, recall bad batches, and follow up on procedures found. For instance, a customer made a complaint in April 2016 that an EpiPen failed. When Meridian disassembled the device, it found a deformed component that led to the problem, the same defect it had found in February where another unit had failed, yet they did nothing. On June 3, 2016, you concluded that the defect was infrequent, even though you had not examined all of your reserve samples to determine the extent of the defect within the same lot of finished products. Nor did you expand your investigation into other lots. You closed your investigation and determined that no market action would be taken. Now, they had 171 samples that were turned in. Do you have a loved one that has an EpiPen? Do you have a daughter, son, child that has to carry an EpiPen? My wife keeps an EpiPen in her purse. Everywhere we go, there's an EpiPen. I know where to get it. And we don't carry two, we carry one. I can't imagine popping the top, pulling the EpiPen, and hitting the hammer, and it do nothing. You'd be like, what? This is another thing that has to work 100% of the time because people will die. And usually you're in a situation, you get a bee sting, you've been exposed to something, you're somewhere where you're not at home. Pfizer. Patient safety is primary importance to Pfizer. We stand behind the quality, safety, and efficacy of the products we manufacture. We continue to work with the FDA to resolve the points raised in the letter. Huh? I hope they hit him with like $1 billion fine. They did recall some injectors. What is wrong? What is wrong with corporate America today? What is wrong with them? It's epidemic that companies do not care about us. And we should be very vocal. We should all be very vocal in expressing our displeasure with these companies. On social media, talking with our friends. You know, if you got a friend that has an EpiPen, you need to tell them. You need to make sure that they don't have a lot that is malfunctioned. It could be the difference between life and death. I continue to be appalled. Why? Where is good stewardship of their customers? They don't care. Because what it does is, we got to do a recall. That's going to cost us money. So if we have 20 people die and they sue us, and it cost us 20 million. Well, it's cheaper than the recall, so we're just going to let 20 people die. That's that's what happened. Some bean counter made that decision instead of doing the right thing. That company should be, again, another company, pay a huge fine. You're no longer allowed to do business in America. And those executives that failed to react, they should all be put in jail for many, many years for their negligence, for their corporate negligence, in my opinion. You all know that my wife has a Nissan Leaf. She has a 2017 Nissan Leaf. And she's been causing my electricity bill to go up because she's charging it every day here in the house. So my $18 electric bill is now like $40, $50, $60 because I'm using more electricity than I'm generating because we're charging the car every day. But I guess it's better than paying gas, right? But anyway, the Nissan 2018 Nissan Leaf is now on the street, a range of 150 miles. The price on it has went up. It has some a higher end model too. It gets as high as $36,000, but there still is a 7,500 federal tax credit that's available. But 150 miles. That's a big improvement over the 97 I think she gets now. That it's actually that extra 50 miles is big. It's a big, big, big difference. Um, because I often find I'm doing the math whenever we're going to take that car, and I'm saying, okay, we're going to go here, we're going to go here, we're here, and I'm like, we're going to have to hit a charger somewhere. And then to me, that's no fun. You're married to the charger. I'd rather drive, do what I have to do every day, be in the driveway, plug it in at night, and be done. So anyway, the 2018 Nissan Leaf, which my good friend Sank likes to call a bug, is uh, is uh, is now being introduced. Google Maps is going to mark road closures in real time in Florida ahead of Hurricane Irma. So I know many of you in Florida are probably listening to this post show, post hurricane. Your heart goes out to you along with all the folks that are still cleaning up in Texas. This looks like a direct hit. This thing's going to go right up the middle, right up the throat, and just decimate Florida. Let's just hope that a miracle happens and this thing slows down with its category or decreases wind speeds. But Google's going to be doing something cool. They are going to be marking road closures in real time on Google Maps. So this will be an interesting experiment to watch. And I'm going to be watching the Miami area. I'm going to be loading Google Maps on Saturday and seeing how this is shaping up and how well it's because people there's people who are going to wait to the last minute to run. And but if you haven't left, please get somewhere where it's high ground and safe. Google Drive on PC and Mac is dead. Long live backup and sync. So it'll be replaced by a new, more capable app on March 12th, 2018. So if you use Google Drive and or Photos on PC and Mac, be aware both those apps are being eliminated starting December 11th and will finally go away in the spring. So just be aware if you're using that is going to go kaput. It's going to go away, going to go bye-bye. Excuse me. Marvel, Star Wars, those are all going to be on exclusive streams on Disney. So if you've been used to watching Marvel and Star Wars on Roku, guess what? In late 2019, no more. It will be on the new Disney streaming platform, which you will have to pay access to. This is the trick they're going to do. They're going to put Marvel and Star Wars movies over there. Then there's going to be James Bond. So you're going to end up having to, if you want to see any of this stuff live streamed, you're going to have a subscription with Disney. You're going to have one with Roku. You're going to have one. You're going to have 5, 6, 7 subscriptions to get access to this stuff. And for what used to be your cable bill is now going to be replaced by all this situation where all this content is being siloed within the content owners, and to get access to it, you're going to have to pay. So this is not at all surprising that they're doing this. They're going to bring that content in house, that where they made it, and they're going to monetize it internally, and you're going to have to pay, pay, and pay. The MPAA has weighed in on net neutrality rules. They made some comments during the comment time, and they basically said, please don't do anything that will affect copyright right holders' rights. That's a mouthful. Say that 3 times real fast. But anyway, so of course the MPAA had to weigh in and say something. There's a drone maker called Aerobotics. They nabbed $32.5 million in funding to expand its business into defense and homeland security. So these folks must be doing something pretty special. But here's the curious thing. The round was led by Blue Run Ventures China, with participation from Microsoft Ventures. So if you've got a company, Aerobotics, a startup that's building autonomous drones for the enterprise sector and going to go into DoD, and you got a Chinese investor? Oh, this company isn't even U.S. based, it's Israeli based. So what do you think about that? I know we have some Israeli listeners here. Near? What do you think about a Chinese company doing an investment round in Aerobotics, and I'm sure the Israeli military might be doing business with this company. It seems like that would get some attention, and the wrong kind. Next gen Mars rover will explore potentially habitable regions on the red planet. Scientists are going to kick the search for habitability up a notch in 2020 when NASA and the European Space Agency plans to send rovers to the red planet to survey, drill, and take pictures of potentially habitable regions. So we get some new rovers going. Cool. And they're going to have a drill. Awesome. Going to be able to drill up to 6.6 feet deep below the Martian surface. Awesome. And I didn't realize they're getting ready to send more rovers there. So keep you advised on that, all right? Dolby. We've all been in a movie theater with Dolby sound, right? Well, Dolby's got a lab where they're basically tracking our emotions when it comes to sound. And they're doing all kinds of cool stuff to see how audio and video can affect the human body, and basically trying to create a better experience for us when we're in the movie theater and so forth. So this is part of their lab testing on that, where they make humans lab rats. So I'll have the link up, and you can check the show notes out. Many of us get ready to go to the dentist. We kind of cringe, right? We know we're going to go in there. We're going to sit down, and hopefully you brushed your teeth before you went in, and they're going to, the hygienist is going to come in and clean your teeth, and that ultrasonic thing that spits water, and it's just I know some of you just had the hair on your neck to stand up, but that thing is the ultimate sadistic tool, right? That was and dental hygienists love it because they don't have so much issues with carpal tunnel syndrome. But in the past, I had some gum disease problems. I basically had gingivitis, wasn't flossing like I should, just not doing everything I was supposed to do. And they did a deep gum clean. Have that done once, and you'll never, ever forget to floss ever again. I'm just telling you. Well, your dentist visit could become a pleasant, pain-free experience, and it's thanks to squids. A team of engineers from the University of California developed a method using squid ink and ultrasound to check for gum disease. So again, if you've ever had to get your mouth checked for gum disease, or have to have a deep clean because of gum disease, You know what I'm talking about here. So they've come up with a new way. Do you simply gargle some food grade squid ink mixed with water and cornstarch, and then they basically shine a laser into your mouth, and you can basically see what's going on with your gums. And it kind of is like that, those little tablets you chewed as a kid, and it made your teeth look weird where you weren't brushing your teeth the right place. So awesome! I'm, I'm flossing, so I'm not going to worry about having that issue. But some of you do, right? Okay, there's a report out of Germany from the Chaos Computer Club that they're saying that they've analyzed software for tabulating the German parliamentary elections, and the analysis shows a host of problems and security holes to extent where public trust in the correct tabulation of votes is at stake. And they put together some proof uh, hack concepts. I'm going to tell you, it's worldwide. These voting challenges, where voting systems are being messed with. So we've got three hurricanes in the Atlantic right now. We've got Irma, Jose, and Katia, and the NASA satellite caught a cool picture of them, and I'll have that up in the show notes. It's pretty rare, but I'm going to tell you, the Hurricane Irma is going to put a wallop on Florida. But lots of cool space shots. I'll have those all linked up in the show notes for you to check out. All right, if you're looking to pick up an S8 Galaxy, there are some deals out there. There's already refurbished units that are becoming available. So you can pick up a refurb unit that's $60, $70 cheaper than retail if you want to do that. For some reason, this page at Android Central is not loading. So we'll skip that and come back. Any of you that wear a continuous glucose monitor, one of those that has basically it's embedded in your skin. If any of you wear one of those, specifically the one from Dexcom, you now can get a Fitbit Ionic smartwatch, and basically it gives you your glucose levels. It puts it on your watch, and you can see it. So that's pretty cool. And also, I guess the Apple Watch works as well already. But Dexcom and Fitbit said they're hoping to get this feature available to Ionic users in 2018. Oh, so it's not available yet. It's coming. And others are working to develop other diabetic management tools in the future that you just wear. You don't have to, you don't have to have something attached to your skin. All right. Again, until National Football League players start standing up and respecting the national anthem, I am not going to be watching the NFL football games. A friend of mine today was all excited about the Patriots game. I don't even know if they won or lost. To be honest with you, I could care less. But Intel has installed its 3D camera systems in 8 more NFL stadiums. So if you're into watching NFL, they're in Baltimore, Houston, San Francisco. Oh, they've already been in there for some time. They're going into the Cardinals, Panthers, Browns, Colts, Chiefs, Vikings, Patriots, and Redskins stadiums. So this brings the total to 11 stadiums equipped with this 3D camera system. I don't really know what they do with it, but anyway, link will be up in the show notes. A U.S. judge is dismissed an email invention claim. So some guy decided that he was the inventor of email, and he was trying to, get some money out of some folks. But basically, this libel case is not going any further, and it's been tossed out by the judge. He apparently did write some sort of program in '78, and I guess he was granted copyright for the program in '82. But he was trying to establish his software as the definitive version of that was basically launched email. but technological history suggests that modern email programs have a lot of influence, but much of the work was done prior to 1978 by many developers. And so this was that he actually had sued TechDirt in the process. So win on TechDirt's part. Good for them. Apple's agreeing to a new licensing deal with Warner Music Group. Apparently, they're not going to have to pay him as much money. A little bit of a rate reduction. Apple's original licensing deal with Apple for Apple Music had it paying labels 58% of its streaming sales, a rate that was higher than Spotify at the time. And Apple's going to be paying Warner a smaller percentage of its streaming revenue than it agreed to when it launched 2 years ago. So more money for Apple, less money for the music industry. Verizon customers can sue ad company over the zombie cookies. A judge has ruled. The online advertising company at the center of Verizon's zombie cookie controversy, which I don't remember talking about, cannot avoid a proposed class action lawsuit filed by Verizon Wireless customers. Turn Inc. is an online advertising clearinghouse that allegedly attached undeletable tracking cookies to Verizon customers' identifiers to collect and send their web browsing and usage data to Turn's servers. Verizon customers Anthony Henson and William Cintron filed a proposed class action lawsuit against Turn on behalf of all Verizon customers in New York, but the company argued that the customers should be forced into attribution. Nope, 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 nope. This is going to go to full jury. Verizon's agreement is that they have to attribute, but not. Turn is not a signatory to that customer service agreement. So good on those folks who are getting that class action going. Judge is refusing to release a man jailed for 2 years for refusing to decrypt his hard drives. He's a kiddie porn suspect, and he's going to remain jailed pending a Fifth Amendment appeal to the Supreme Court. This gentleman, if you want to, we shouldn't even call him that, a man, let's say that, a man jailed for 2 years for refusing to decrypt his hard drives must remain confined while his appeals of contempt of court order to the U.S. Supreme Court, a federal judge ruled Wednesday. Francis Rawls, a fired Philadelphia police officer, has been behind bars since September 30th, 2015 for declining a judicial order to unlock 2 hard drives authorities found at his residence as part of a child porn investigation. Well, we'll see what happens here. We will see what happens. But, he doesn't want to get, well, he knows what's on there. He doesn't want to have them find it and then go to the big house being convicted kiddie porn consumer. So we'll see where the Supreme Court falls out on this. But I guess he's going to stay in jail. Contempt of court. Lenovo in 2015 was busted for installing a nasty bit of snoopware made by a company called Superfish. Remember talking about that? Well, they've had to write a $3.5 million check. That check is due, and they had to give that to the FTC. And basically, they have to write that check, $3.5 million to the FTC for being naughty and doing what they were doing. What else is in my list here? Oh, there's a lot of reviews about the Samsung Galaxy Note 8. I actually saw one. It's massive. It's massive. You thought the iPhone 7 Plus and S were big? Oh my goodness. This thing was, it's huge. Huge, huge, huge. But it is beautiful and very light, too. So if you haven't seen the Galaxy Note 8, you're definitely going to want to check that out. Over in GeekWire, Speed Report finds T-Mobile and Xfinity providing fastest mobile and broadband internet in the United States. Whoa! Mobile and fixed broadband internet speeds in the U.S. are improving, but not all carriers and providers are created equal. These are findings according to a new market report by Speed Test by Ookla out of Seattle, which relied on data captured from user-initiated tests during the first half of 2017. Customers using T-Mobile for mobile internet and Comcast Xfinity for broadband, the results are really good. They were the fastest. Oh, Go eat that, Verizon. So speed test scores was Xfinity, Verizon, Cox, Spectrum, AT&T, Frontier, and CenturyLink for wired, and then T-Mobile at 23.17. Oh, Verizon at 23.13. AT&T at 20.05 and Sprint at 15.39 was their score test. So T-Mobile inked them out by .04. So not a big appreciable difference, but that gives some kudos to T-Mobile for that win. Students can subscribe to Spotify and Hulu for $5 per month. Link is up in the show notes if you have a student that needs to get off your account. Lyft with self-driving artificial intelligence will hit San Francisco streets shortly. So Lyft announced that it's partnered with Drive.ai, a company that produces AI for self-driving cars, for a pilot program in the Bay Area. And you'll have a driver in your car. Don't worry. You won't get a vehicle with no driver in it. They have to still have someone be at least behind the wheel, even if the vehicle is driving by itself. All right, over in the Wall Street Journal, they're reporting the iPhone summer production glitches have caused holiday jitters. The widely anticipated 10th anniversary iPhone with an expected price of $1,000 hit a speed bump or two. According to the Wall Street Journal, it's plagued by production glitches in regards to the finger unlock. And it probably is not going to come with it. We've kind of heard that already. But there's some other stuff. If you have access to Wall Street Journal, you can check it out. Drone pilots are getting their own weather forecast, and these are being put together by Earth Networks, delivering detailed regional forecasts from 10 to 400 feet of altitude in 10-foot increments. At any location in the world, you'll see hourly forecasts for wind speeds and directions up to 6 days ahead of time. The system is powered by the Global Weather Corporation, which has 10,000 weather sensors and 1,500 lightning sensors in 90 countries. So those low-level winds are important for all of us. Twitter, they've got to go to the Senate and brief the Senate on activity by the Russians during the election. Facebook declared that they had found ads run by Russians, and basically Congress is saying, hey, we want you to be basically have to follow the same rules that TV and radio do, that you're going to have to start reporting. That's exciting to me. But apparently $100,000 worth of political ads were purchased by fake accounts tied to Russian activists. So if they'd have been tracking that, they would have caught that earlier, especially if they had to report it. Pew Research has a good article on news, NEWS, news use across social media platforms. And social media news is increasing among older, non-white, and less educated Americans, according to this Pew Research Center report. Wow, that's kind of an inflammatory statement. YouTube and Snapchat have grown in share of users who get news on each site. On Snapchat, Twitter being number 1, YouTube being number 2, Snapchat being number 3. News usership did not change in 2016. Was Reddit, Facebook, Tumblr, Instagram, LinkedIn, and WhatsApp. So anyway, interesting report. I'll let you guys dig into it, those of you that are looking for that data. Indiegogo is requiring campaigns to disclose product status and risk. They're also forced to update backers monthly. This is a good deal. It's good that they're forcing this, where basically those campaigns have to be updated so people know if their money's being spent correctly. I guess they could lie during the update, but that probably wouldn't be very smart. BMW is reportedly making an all-electric 4-door sedan. The new i model could sit comfortably between the i3 and i8 in the series. I'm not at all familiar with BMW product line, so what does that mean? It'll be a car I can or cannot afford? That probably is where the question is. BMW to me has always been, I know some people like BMW, but to me it's been like this very boring, almost old brand. know. Maybe they're changing. I don't know. But to me, it's kind of like, ugh. Amazon crowdsourced new HQ locations. Bezos is telling mayors to woo him. And they're searching for a city to host a second corporate headquarters. The mail order giant retail said the HQ2 facility, wherever it may land, would host up to 50,000 employees and serve as a secondary base of operations to its existing Seattle headquarters. Amazon's looking to spend up to $5 billion of its own money to get the new campus built, though it's hoping the host city will be creative about helping them to secure the real estate. Yes, they're looking for a handout and tax incentives, but 50,000 jobs? Yep, maybe they're going to get it. There's a new pen out that can determine whether tissue, yes, tissue, human tissue, is cancerous in 10 seconds. When surgeons are removing a tumor from a patient, determining whether they've taken out all the cancer cells or if they should extract more tissue is a problem they all face. Typically, the margins of a tumor are assessed after the surgery is completed, and if it looks like some cancer was left behind, another surgery might be in order. So, developing a way to test tissue for cancer cells in real time would be incredibly useful. This comes in the Mass Spec pen. As its name suggests, it's a small pen-like device that can determine whether tissue is cancerous in just 10 seconds. It works by developing a droplet of water to the surface. It works by delivering a droplet of water to the surface of the tissue in question. That droplet pulls in molecules from the tissue. Then they are analyzed by a mass spectrometer, a machine that can rapidly measure the mass of chemicals, and then the system reports whether the tissue is cancerous or normal. So they've got you opened up. They can test right there before they before they sew you up, and make sure they've got it all. Awesome. Let's see how this does. Hey, SpaceX snuck in a X-37B space launch ahead of Hurricane Irma, and of course they got it to orbit. So good job on them for punching one up. I didn't see the video on it yet, but definitely we'll have to go look if there is one. Apparently, Android version 8.0, aka Oreo, contains an unfortunate bug that causes phones to burn through their monthly mobile data allowances. Ooh. So some people have got this problem, so just be aware that's out there. They're trying to fix it. That's going to bring me to the end of the show. That's a quick show. Let me go over here and see if I can find a couple of last things before we bounce out. I have to look at email too. Let's see if there's anything over coast to coast that is of interest. And to be honest with you, as tired as I am tonight, it's probably a good idea that I do bounce out. Let me go over to GNC comments. Got an email from Natalie. It talks about this Equifax breach and goes into details. So, Natalie, thanks for sending that over. Got an email from Lawrence. He says, "Hey, Todd, hearing your story about the IRS using social media watch for fraud brought to mind this tale of intrigue. Back in 2006, they called me about an outstanding balance I had on the same day. I made a series of hotel reservations in preparation for a trip out of state. Hearing about them following social media doesn't come as a surprise. I think they could have been watching my banking activity. Funny thing was, they asked me if it was safe to talk on this line and allowed me to contact them later that day when I finished with work. I've never heard of the IRS calling, Lawrence. It's usually, they usually send you, they usually send you a notice in the mail. So, makes you wonder, doesn't it, dear? All right, what else? I think that's all. I think that's all I've got for comments tonight. So we're out of here pretty quick, even though considering I started late. And definitely appreciate everyone being here. And we're on schedule. 2 shows next week as planned. And hopefully I get some of my life back here and aren't burning the midnight oil. And Kirk's doing a great job doing show prep and saving my life in many ways here. So good on him. He's going to be coming out to Vegas with. We did confirm we're going to have a broadcast room. It's not going to be as big as I want. It looks like it's going to be like 7 by 14. We can make that work. Main thing is I can lock stuff up and we can have people come in and do interviews. So pretty exciting that we're confirmed at the Sands for 7 by 14, and we'll set up a real mini studio there where we can interview a couple people and still have people out on the floor doing our thing. All right, that's it. That's all we're gonna have. If you're in any way in this track of this hurricane, good luck. Really thinking about you. Been here, done that, and I understand the pain involved there. So happy to, if there's anything we can do, let us know. And we'll be back with you on Monday, everyone. Everybody take care. We'll see you next time here on the Geek News Central podcast. Take care. Aloha.